Oh, I didn't know I was going to get a little voice memo of recording in progress.
There you go.
Hello, anybody who's watching. Thank you to Gerald, who's joining me today for this spread, which I am calling the Four Elements Alchemy spread, because basically we are turning earthly concerns into solutions by going through the four elements in a sort of a
Mhm.
circle or a cycle. Now, if you want to join along, I sort of did. I don't even know if you can see it, but I did a little layout of like the spread. It's four cards.
Uh-huh.
You want to choose a deck that you're very comfortable with, um, and also with regards to dealing with the four elements while you're looking into your spread.
Mhm.
So this idea came out from me contemplating my tarot the other night and just sort of holding it in my hands and shuffling and thinking about the cards and thinking that, cards are made of paper, paper is from the earth, and so I'm thinking about starting this cycle of alchemy from an earth-based point of view. Our earthly concerns, all our earthly concerns are in all these cards. Whatever question we have is basically an earthly concern because it's coming from an earth-based being. So we have these cards. Here are our earthly concerns. That's our earth element. We consider what that concern might be that we're going to consult today. As we do so, we set fire with our wands to these cards, and they rise like smoke into the sky.
Mhm.
We sort of integrate our passion into that shuffling to allow the cards to rise. Once they're in the sky, mulling around up there, they're in the air, our air sign, where we're thinking about that, those concerns, and how to sort of like use our passions, use all the elements in trying to figure out how to solve or resolve these concerns.
Mhm.
And that smoke in the sky then becomes sort of integrated with the clouds. It turns into rain and then falls back to earth. And as it falls back to earth, it falls into puddles and creeks and rivers and different ways it lands on the earth than it started out.
Mhm.
And that's where we get our spread from. And as we're going through the spread, we're sort of thinking about those things, going from first card out of four. First card is the earth element. What is our earthly concern? The second card is passion involving the burning, the rising, the wand element into our thought process, which is air, which is swords, and then turning into fire, imbuing it with our emotional content so that it falls back to earth in a way that we are emotionally comfortable with.
Mhm.
And then hopefully we resolve what was an earthly issue with those three elements of passion, thought, communication, and emotion to resolve or find a solution to that situation. Are you with me so far?
I am. I am with you.
So, I mean, we kind of do this anyway, I think, in readings, but maybe not so focused. So the four, I mean, you can lay them out in a row, you can lay them out in an arc, you can lay them out like I did in a square. But you want four cards drawn, and we're going to address each one almost like if anybody knows Lenormand. In Lenormand, if you do a grand tableau, there are houses. We're
Mhm.
trying to treat each card position as a house. So the
Okay.
first house is earth, the second house is fire, the third house is air, and the last house is cups. And I think it's almost easier to think of them as earth, fire, air, water than it is pentacles, wands, swords, cups, but however you want to do that, as long as you keep the element attached to the suit in mind.
Mm-hmm.
So you can either draw them one by one or lay them all out at once. I don't think it much matters. I'm going to put all mine down.
Is there a particular type of question that you recommend people using, or just start turning over the cards, Robin?
Um, that's another thing. That's sort of up to you whether you want to frame a question. For me, I want to see what the cards have to tell me. I want to see maybe there's an issue that I'm overlooking that
Okay.
has needs addressing, some earthly concern that needs me to address it. And
Sure.
that's what I did.
And so Earth is top left,
No,
fire, no?
no, it goes in a circle from the earth, which is the bottom. So
Okay.
I have on the bottom left the earth sign, and then above it, fire, which rises up, and then to the right of that, the air, and then below the air, the rain that falls back down to earth.
Okay.
That's
So we
correct.
got it.
I'm just gonna show that again. It's hard to see probably, but okay. So I'm gonna start it off just so you get an idea, I think. Okay. My my earth card is oh, just for anybody's reference, I have a new deck that I like. It's called the Tea Stained Tarot.
Mm,
It's just the a linen stock version of the Rider-Waite-Smith in black on a tea stain kind of stock.
nice.
So there's no color there, so I can focus a little bit more just on the drawings.
Mm-hmm.
So my earthly card is the Five of Cups.
Mm,
This is where it gets a little bit confusing, possibly for you all in this spread, because I have here the suit of cups. But remember, I'm engaging this card with the position of Earth. So it's kind of like, how does the Earth aspect impact my card, the Five of Cups? And
mhm,
generally I read the Five of Cups as some sort of sorrow, sadness, worries, some issue that is emotionally troubling me that I am a little blinded to at the moment because I'm caught up in the emotion. I can't really focus so much on that consideration.
mhm,
Let's say at the moment I am bound to earth by the overwhelming feeling of sadness or sorrow or depression or um, something I've done where it feels like there's something missing that I can't quite grasp.
mhm.
It's funny actually for this spread because it's kind of like I said, I didn't apply a question. And this is sort of like, well, sorry, I don't have a question. Okay,
Mm.
I'm gonna let you do your first card and see what we've got for you.
My first card from the Robin Wood Tarot, I'm covering it up, is the Lovers. So, as it relates to Earth, Lovers is a card of it is about love and lovers and sensuality and all of those things. It's also about partnership and having those that complement to help find balance.
Mhm.
So, thinking of that, and this is a major arcana, thinking of lovers with Earth, it is be grounded and be, uh, um, I could even say this is about a primal thing, something that is really sacral or root chakra based.
Mhm.
It's very core to my being is what I would say. And I think the The earth, of course, itself is very fertile because that's from whence we get all of our food. So all of these things are important to keep in mind.
Okay.
So
I'm gonna throw my 2 cents in just
please, yeah.
because it's the lovers, I'm assuming that the earthly concern has to do with you and your partner. I mean, no,
Okay, keep
I mean,
going.
this could be anybody, it could be, but since you're the one doing the reading and you're the one pulling the cards and you are in a partnership, I'm
Mm-hmm.
I'm feeling like this reading has to do with your earthly material relationship aspects with your partner,
Mm-hmm.
maybe finances, maybe home and hearth, maybe those kind of things that are
Yeah.
material issues of the pentacles
Mm-hmm.
with the earth, maybe grocery shopping, what's for dinner, all
Yeah.
those kind of things could be in
Mm-hmm.
this card. We don't have a
True.
whole lot yet in this spread with the initial card. The others are a little bit more about taking action. This is kind of like establishing a ground base or something
Yeah.
to work from. So the second card, my second card is the Magician.
Mm.
So I go from the earthly sorrow, sadness, sobering contemplation to the fire sign and rising fire and smoke into the sky on the Magician. I would say part of my solution to my concerns has to do with drawing on the power of the wands and fire to build up the passion to manifest change.
Mm-hmm.
So if I'm thinking too much about sorrow, sadness, if I'm too grounded in sobering things, I need to use my magical gifts to help me rise above, help pull me out of that.
Mm-hmm.
I think I'm going to leave that there unless you have anything you want to add to that.
Well, I would say for the magician is always has all of the tools available to them. And what I'm fascinated with, Robin, is the idea of that passion. This is the passion of having those tools available to you. You can create anything,
Yeah.
whatever it is that you have passion about. So from those earthly sorrows, as you were saying with the 5 of Cups,
Mhm.
and you being inspired to use the tools to 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 create something new, to create a way of how you are presenting yourself to the world.
Yeah, let me also sort of reflect back. Possibly the sorrow isn't sorrow so much as it is uh insecurity about the spread, how this will go, you know.
Be,
It's like
yeah.
I've got this idea for a spread, and I thought, oh, this could be an interesting idea, but how do I make it work? Will it work? I guess it depends on the cards, or does it depend on how I deal with the cards? And so that magician is kind of telling me, yeah, you've got the tools, you know what to do. You just have to know how to use them
Exactly.
and connecting with each of the cards. So I've already made a start by magically converting those earthly concerns into fire and smoke to rise up.
Yes.
So that's the second position. So let's see
Yeah.
what we
Well,
got.
and to go back to that, Robin, the idea of is a magician could be doing some alchemy with those different tools.
Mhm.
So you rising above the concern about this spread, there you go. So
I,
I always like to think of the magician could be the beginning of an alchemist.
mhm. Yeah.
So
I also a phrase comes to mind, but I think it might be an inaccurate phrase, scorched earth.
Yes.
I think scorched earth means like destroying, burning it all. But I'm thinking of it more as an alchemical thing of like we have this earthly thing. And I, like you said, I'm sort of performing alchemy through the passion of the magician
Mhm.
by burning this earthly concern and
Right.
letting the magic rise in the smoke to the sky.
Mhm. Yeah. So my fire is the Ace of Pentacles. So interestingly enough, what has risen from the earth is the beginning of something new. So from the earth by the fire has come a new thing, a new idea, a new opportunity, uh, and it could be the start of a new project, which I've got lots of those. And that makes a lot of sense, especially having it. The earthly concern has the lovers, and Jeffrey is a great support. So that is lifting it up and leading down the path to what could be something that could stand on a pedestal. So,
Yeah, I did want you to try to relate it to the original concern, the earthly concern about the lovers. Now, I'm curious. I don't know if you mind me revealing this or not, but before we went on, we had a short conversation about you just having returned from a vacation involving
mhm.
quilting,
Yep.
which I didn't realize both you and Jeffrey do.
Uh-huh.
Now I'm wondering, since you say project, do you think possibly that relates to this, what you just been through, or maybe are continuing working on?
It absolutely has something to do with that because as while I was gone, I worked on a new technique to do some fabric landscapes, some fabric paintings, and I'm very pleased with it. So I can do that too.
I don't do it intentionally. It happens accidentally all the time when I
Yeah,
grab my arm.
yeah. So, but yes, that is exactly true. That's completely how I see it. Yes.
Okay, let's go to the third card. My third card, which is air, swords, is the Ten of Wands. I know it gets a little confusing when I say swords and I have wands, but the swords is the position, the air position for wands. And the Ten of Wands is a little bit overwhelmed.
Hmm.
And so it's sort of like, it's almost sort of also gathering these wands, sort of like, is this enough or is it too much? You know, okay, I had earthly concerns about the spread. I have manifested something through passion to consider this. Now I have to kind of like look at it face on and use my mind and my speech to convey how do I how do I figure out what's come from that first concern?
Hmm.
Does kind of relate back to that idea of, is this spread enough or is it too much? Is it overwhelming? Is it something I will collect a lot of information from?
Hmm.
Not, not sure it's giving me an answer yet. I think it's sort of um, a little bit of a lot to think about. And at some point, this is going to turn into rain and fall back to earth. So I have to collect all this stuff up that's going to fall back down in the final card. And I guess that's all I'm going to say about that, unless you have something you want to say.
Well, I'd like to add something to that because a 10 is, again, it's all finished. You're waiting for that next opportunity. And you put it in with air, which is about thought, word, and deed. The 10 of Wands is about carrying things that you may not need to carry.
Mhm.
So perhaps um, this is about not overwhelming your 4 card spread with too much emotion or
Right.
too much energy, and just let it be what it needs to be.
Mm-hmm.
So, and oftentimes, Robin, when I see the 10 of Wands, I pay attention to, is the person carrying the wands in control of those wands, or are they haphazard?
Mm-hmm.
And in that one, they're together.
Mm.
It's just they're not bunched in multiple places, but you're able to carry them. So
Yeah.
I think that's an interesting thing, especially when you're thinking about the spread.
Mm-hmm.
So in my air position, I have the Queen of Wands. So I've started with the Earth, which was the Lovers, and then the fire was a pentacle or an earth sign, and the air is a fire card. So this is the card of I the Queen of Wands is the one who is helping to nurture that creativity, be inspiring, and encourage that creativity. So putting that in with the air, what am I thinking about? What am I doing with it? I need to be very carefully and thoughtfully doing things to do some creativity things every day to help build on that.
Mm-hmm.
So, but yeah.
How do you think, or do you think that plays into the Lover's card?
Oh, I think it does play into the Lover's card, because this is an emotional card, whereas the Lovers has a balance between the masculine and the feminine. I need to be following some of my own intuition and going through and allowing nurturing for that, and
Mhm.
exploration
Yeah.
and exploration. So, yeah.
What was your second card again?
The Ace of Pentacles.
Right.
So it's like you can see this as you could you could see this could be the seed that is been planted, and we have the Queen of Wands could be, of course, it's in the air position. She is the sun, she's warming the air so that this seed in the fire can grow.
Yeah, I'm also thinking about your partnership and creative endeavor arising out of the partnership.
Yep.
So the partnership is passion of a sort, even though it's like
Mhm.
we're dealing with it as an earthly card, earthly passion, and then going into this creativity, this creation. But
Mhm.
then when you say the Queen of Wands, it makes me think of compassion, from like passion to compassion. So it's sort of like blending your compassion with your passion as
Yes,
you're passing through this new creative project.
sure.
So I think whenever you have a partner, there's this aspect of cooperation,
Mhm.
adjustment. Sometimes you have to give a little, take a little, word I'm like, compromise. And so I can see the compassion of the Queen of Wands in that, in
Yes.
terms of any project that you might take on with another person that you're close to.
Yes. Well, and Jeffrey is very good at helping to think things through. He's very good at a thought process. His thought processes are very accurate. So, yeah, excellent.
Okay, the final card for me. So we have from my 10 of Wands, turning, those thoughts and that communication into water rain back down on Earth, I have the Lovers, which is funny because that's where
Ah,
it started. And now this should be my solution to turning earthly concerns into solutions. And for me, a lovers is a partnership, a collaboration of sorts, an interaction with another person or persons. It I think it rounds out pretty nicely in this cycle that I've laid out here of my concerns over this spread and how do I make, well, it's not just a spread, it's also my social interactions. I don't do a lot of videos on YouTube. So
mm-hmm.
in my social media, sometimes I do things that are a little bit tentative. And I think that's kind of what this spread is about. I have tentative feelings about interacting with others. So, in that regard, the lovers is you, since you're doing the spread with me, but also anybody watching this. So
Yes.
I'm in part a partnership of sorts doing this spread. And
Mm-hmm.
to me, this looks it's in the cups position, so emotionally it's a comfortable space.
Yes.
Feel safe with you here. I feel safe and comfortable with my viewers. I don't often get negative comments from my
Mm-hmm.
videos. I'm most generally feel comfortably safe and supported.
Yeah.
So I think that any earthly concerns I had about this are basically unfounded, or they're supported or reinforced by, other people feeling um, friendly and supportive of me,
Mm-hmm.
willing to work with me, willing to
Yeah.
receive the information in a way that's not too overwhelming or underwhelming, maybe just right?
Sure. Very true. I like that in with the because the lovers is an emotional card, of course. So having the lovers in the water position is a nice match.
Mhm.
Is a very nice match. So in the water position, I have the 8 of Cups.
Mhm.
So the 8 of Cups is about letting the past go. It is I like to think of it's walking towards something. It allows me to become more solid in the way I feel about things. So as it relates to this spread and coming from the Queen of Wands, this is the card of, okay, let all of the things go that are not serving and are not helping, not inspiring. So you can move on to new things, to find the things that are deeply rewarding. So,
Yeah.
and yeah.
Well, I'm looking at that. That pulled me back to the Ace of Pentacles,
Mm-hmm.
is your passion, your quilting.
Yes.
And then that quilting pulled me back to the Jeffrey and the Lover's card below.
Mm-hmm.
I, it's funny because I'm almost reading this like Lenormand, corner to corner.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
Okay,
sure.
it's all related, right?
Yes.
So this at first I thought, oh, the 8 of Cups, that's kind of like not being compatible with this partnership regarding this project and walking away from it. But I don't think that's the case. You said walking towards, and I
Mm-hmm.
think more it's a case whenever two people collaborate on something, they can make their issues clear, but and get along, but not always agree on the direction.
Sure.
So in pursuing this creative project, Jeffrey may convey some intellectual thoughts about logical progression in this or ways to proceed. And you might think, yeah, it's like, 7 of this and 1 of the other. And I think I'm going to choose this way. The
Mm-hmm.
majority between the two of us, maybe there's this consensus maybe it should go this way, but my creative impulse is saying, no, I want to investigate this other area.
Sure. And
So
yeah, if we're going visually, this person is walking up a mountain, and once they get to the top of the mountain, when the sun comes up, they find this path, which is actually leading them to the Ace of Pentacles. So, how's that for relating those two things together?
it's great. And I love that you giving me more information adds more for me to bounce off of.
Mm-hmm.
When you say walking up a mountain, this sort of says that perhaps, I'm not calling it conflict, but perhaps a difference of opinion about a creative pursuit with your partner might be a bit more of a struggle or less comfortable than just if it was you and your own solo thing doing your own thing.
Yeah.
You're having to deal with another person with different opinions, and it's an uphill walk.
Or it's a walk that actually can help lessen the anxiety of letting that go, because from this, if we go back in the circle, we come to that, then we go to that again, we get new inspiration. And so it's an overall growing experience, because people have different experiences.
Yeah.
I like to surround myself with people who have a differing point of view, because it helps inform my view and can help me and to help me find balance to get closer to what I'm looking for.
And that Eight of Cups, also what popped into my head was the Fleetwood Mac song "Go Your Own Way," all
Mm-hmm.
for a different reason, not for the content of that song, but for the title "Go Your Own Way." Sort
Mm-hmm.
of means, and with relation to the cups, that you are most comfortable, find the most, yeah, definitely you find support from your partner, but you are most comfortable ultimately in going your own way, following your own passion.
Yes. Yeah. The road less traveled, so to speak,
Yeah,
because the road less traveled is the one that has the rewards at it.
the big reward.
Mhm. Yes, yes, very true.
So, I think this went pretty well.
I think it went great, Robin. Thank you.
Yeah. So, I think we did turn earthly concerns into solutions. We impacted the cards in the spread with one another and within with the four elements in their placement within the cycle. And I actually love this sort of metaphor of, earth turning to fire. Generally, I think earth, air, fire, water, but
Mhm.
this has a definite reason or definite purpose to this order. In
Sure.
order for the earth element to reach the sky, for me, it has to be torched with some
Mhm.
degree of passion. You have to, in order to make something happen, you have to, set fire to it, make it move, make it do something. So you're searching for a solution. That's the fire element bringing up. And then once you get things moving, like a knight, an action card, once you get things moving, then it's not just like the energy of movement. You have to consider your direction, the steps you're taking, what you have to put some thought into it. Where are you going? How are you getting there?
Yes.
Um, is there a purpose to it? Um, what what got you this far? What will get you the rest of the way? There are a lot of things to think about. And then once you kind of calmed that fire in the brain, let the air clear the smoke out,
Yes.
let those clouds be light and fluffy and just sort of filled with
Mhm.
moisture, and calm you emotionally, and let it fall back to earth,
Mhm.
settles on the land. It doesn't create necessarily a flood. It just calmly settles and falls into the cracks and crevices of that scorched earth, and you find the pattern. So I really like this idea of this alchemical process.
Oh, of course. Yeah.
The
Yeah.
cycle of life, the cycle of energy.
Hmm. Yeah. And then you can always look at, what happens as you can compare the suit of the card in the position and how they relate to the other ones. So, is there a balance of the suits in the four cards? So yeah, very interesting, Robin. Thank you.
Yeah, I wish I had an overhead shot so I could show you all four cards in the spread at once.
Hmm.
If you have the RWS at home, you can lay it out and see what I'm talking about. But I'm just looking again. Look again at the four cards visually. Now, mine, it's interesting. The bottom left card and the upper right card have figures looking away or looking down. They're both looking down and outside of the spread.
Mm,
So it's sort of like they're disengaged. The first disengagement is an emotional one over, gee, am I adequate as a tarot person,
uh-huh.
delivering this information? The other one is, oh, am I overwhelming my audience with too much or too little information? So both of them are kind of like looking outside myself.
Hmm.
Other two, the magician at the top left, he's got one arm. I don't know how to do this backwards. He's got his right arm raised with a wand to the sky, and the left arm pointing down to the opposite corner, the lover's card.
Mm,
So he's manifesting, that cosmic energy from above to below. And then we look down at the lover's card, which is the end result, which is great. It's the coming together of two individuals, two earthly individuals,
hmm.
seen by an angel, cosmic energy, whatever you want to call it, a higher, what's it, not higher good, what's the word I'm looking for? Higher
Higher.
self, maybe.
Hmm.
And so it seems resolved. It's funny too that just below the angel and between the coming together is a little cloud. So
Hmm.
it's funny too, that idea of rain falling
Yep.
to this place where it brings together me and you, me and my audience, me and some comfort with dealing with social media and communication.
Uh-huh.
Sorry, I get a little overly chatty, but
No,
I
it's fine, Robin.
my readings are developing a lot over the last few months, particularly since I'm teaching. And some of you might say, "You're teaching? How are you in a position to teach?" But I think we are all tarot students, and in learning, we can
Hmm.
share what we learn. And when others share what they learn with us, that interaction or that exchange can be a good method for teaching.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I agree. Anybody who is interested in evolving their personal reading skills to try creating spreads to see how they work and use them and write them down. What works and what could be different the next time. I
I
think
also
it's fascinating.
I also want to say something as comfortable or common to me as the rider Waite. A lot of times, I think people just sort of glance at the surface. And I'm finding over the last few months, the longer I look at the cards, the
Mhm.
more deeper I go and the more that comes out. And in terms of my sort of approach in as an open readings, I see little visual cues in the card that
Yes.
aren't initially noticeable, but then they come
Mhm.
out. Like, for instance, my first card, the Five of Cups, is has almost abandoned the issue. The cups, he's not touching the cups. He's very like closed in. He's looking down. He's looking away. He's not even looking at us. he's like inside himself.
Hmm.
And then the upper right corner, those 10 of wands, he's not looking at us, but he's doing business. He's taking care of business. He's grasping those wands. He's manifesting, trying to make this work and walk out of the picture. In the back, there's a city, there's a
Hmm.
village, as if to say, okay, I'm gathering up the solution to the situation and I'm taking it to outsiders or to other people. I'm I'm trying to manifest the magician and gathering these, solving them up. Um, Excited about the passion of working with tarot and taking it to other people.
Sure.
So more layers, more layers.
I like a lot of layers. I like a lot of layers.
I
This is a great spread, and I think I encourage people to give it a try and leave a comment to let you know how it went for them, because you're going to learn from other people's feedback. So I
yeah,
like how you're paying attention to, if there are people in the card, where are they looking? If they're looking to the left, there is that looking to the past. If they're looking to the right, it's looking to the future. And if they're looking at each other's card or the other cards, that's very telling as well.
yeah. And that lover's card, the female is sort of looking up to the angel and the male is looking to her. So it's sort
Mm.
of like a compassionate connection with higher self, spirit, cosmos, aids in connecting with the partner, the other,
Yes.
the community. So yeah, I am really enjoying my exploration with tarot, and I thank you for joining me and for mentioning that last bit about the viewers, because
Mhm.
let's teach each other and educate each other. Let's learn from
Oh
each other.
yeah. Yeah. And I think we're very fortunate that viewers will be respectful and when they share their experience with it. So I think that's fascinating. I
Okay,
think it's
I'm going to
fascinating.
turn the camera off right now and say thank you, Gerald, and thank you, viewers, for joining us. If you enjoyed this, please hit the like button and subscribe to get notices of future
Hmm.
videos. And I rarely put that plea out there. So please. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you.
Now let's see if I can figure out how to turn off the recording. Hmm.